We're very lucky tonight to have over here Chris Goodman. Chris has been president of the 3068 group for I think 23 years. Happy birthday. And Chris knows more than most about the planning issues and the impacts of planning decisions and how to deal with planning as it comes across through your letterbox, and has assisted with the 3068 group countless number of people to get a better outcome for the proposals that are going to impact on them. So please welcome Chris Goodman. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Rod. Thanks to all the organisers, but thank you especially to everyone who's turned out, because this will be scaring a lot of people, and that's fantastic. Just by being here, you're making a difference, and that's what makes North Fitzroy and Clifton Hill and this part of the inner city is such a great place to live, is the people that band together and make it a great place to live. So you create this place, and congratulations to all of you. How many people here are from North Fitzroy? Okay, that's just about everybody. How many people from Clifton Hill? The other side. Okay. Yeah, as Rod said, we've been fighting developments like this. No, not like this, but building up towards this. This is probably the worst thing I've ever seen. But this is happening all over Melbourne. I think the population's heading for 10 million. No one ever asked you about that. They just decided it was a good idea, and they've set all the policy settings to get as many people here because it's good for the economy, never mind the environment. So that's the driver behind this. So pay attention to the population. They're filling up a new MCG every year. Be aware of that. And I'll take questions later, but I want to keep this brief because people are standing and there's some really interesting people who I want to hear. So yeah, we've been fighting for 23 years. Including on this site in 2003, there was a proposal for 171 dwellings, which was 4 and 5 stories, and we thought that was a bit excessive. Now we'd be less opposed to that development. In fact, if that was the benchmark, we'd be quite happy. This one here, it's got a private garden, and we're asking that it be made a public garden. It's way too high, and it's having impacts on the gardens. And the other thing that you need to be very cognizant of is the gasworks is next door. Is it a 4 hectare site? That's huge. It's polluted. All of that part of Darling Gardens and where this site is used to be battery factories and coal briquette factories. There's a lot of pollution around here. Just under the surface. Darling Gardens had some waterways that ran through that site, through the gasworks, and down into Alexandra Parade, where they go into a drain and run under Alexandra Parade into the Merry Creek, and that's not a good place to be digging. So I think that that's another issue that you need to be very aware of, that there's a lot of pollution under the ground. What happens to the gasworks? Currently there's a what I would call a land grab. It's owned by us through the state government. They want to sell it to private development, and we need to say what we want to be developed there. If you have any ideas about future of this area, that it might need schools or hospitals or markets or gardens or whatever you might think might be necessary, now is the time to be making demands on the gasworks site. This site that we're discussing tonight should be developed only with an overall plan for how this community should develop. So I think I've said enough, and unless there's any questions, I'll hand back to that MC.
Okay. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Chris.